Oh, yeah, a little sitar if you don't mind. Hiya, kids. I'm Charlie Kendall. I want to talk to you about Woodstock, because it happened in August 15th through the 18th of 1969. 32 bands played at this gig, and it was pretty much an accident. Okay, let's talk about a couple of guys named Artie Kornfeld and Michael Lang. Now, the guy I know is Artie Kornfeld, who I met in 1982. Artie is quite a character. He was born in Brooklyn, New York, pretty much raised in his teens in North Carolina, where he worked at a big coliseum and got to do shows with, Elvis Presley playing, Chuck Berry, and Fats Domino. And lo and behold, by 1966, Artie Kornfeld had written over 75 Billboard charted songs and participating in the making of over 150 albums. In 1969, he became the first ever rock promotion guy for Capitol Records. Artie wrote songs like The Pied Piper and The Rain, the Park, and other things.
Well, I wrote Dead Man's Curve.
Yeah, which I
wrote the whole Little Old Lady from Pasadena album.
Yeah.
And then I wrote The Pied Piper, and then I toured with Sonny and Cher because, as you know, The Changing Times was the first version, and that went top 50, and Sonny liked it so much because it was #1 in L.A. that I was on the first Sonny and Cher tour as an artist.
Yeah.
And John Sebastian, because I just signed the Spoonful of Koppelman Rubin where I worked, he took me to the Village and dressed me up like a hippie because I was a suit guy before that. Except for a couple of acts I signed. And those are the days when the hard hats threw bricks at anybody with long hair. So when I walked down the street with Michael Lang, people would throw bricks. Then I had Minnie Riperton single. I had, and then a bunch of others, top 50s, Connie Francis, Wayne Newton, Rep Rodder and the Delrons, the Tokens, Jamie, all the people that I looked up to my whole life and bought their records, all of a sudden I was writing for.
You were writing for them. You become the first VP of rock at Capitol Records, and then you follow your heart and go do a damn concert in Woodstock.
Right. Well, you know what? There was a war. There was a president that was doing weird stuff, and I don't want to get political.
Early in 1969, Michael Lang was broke and living with Artie and his wife Linda. Now, Artie wanted to showcase some bands to see if they were worth signing.
So it was really going to be a free concert in a Broadway theater with every act that I had never seen, because Michael said I was so tainted from touring with my own acts and being on the road and making records and seeing concerts as an A&R guy for 2 companies. I didn't go to concerts anymore. And that's really how it was developed that night. And went into Woodstock Ventures, and my part was doing the whole promotion.
An idea for a showcase at a local theater somewhere grew into Woodstock.
First night, my late wife, who you might have met, Linda, said there'll probably be 500,000. And actually, when I sold the 100,000 tickets 3 months before, we knew there'd be at least 300,000 there anyway. It was really Michael teasing me. Michael came to me when I was vice president of Capitol A&R. And I had just signed Seeger, the band, and Joe South, and I was producing Debbie Harry and The Wind and the Willows, and you remember those days.
Sure.
And Michael came to me with a band called The Train, not like The Train now, but a different Train. And Mickey Thomas was the lead singer in that band, and Garland Jeffries was in that band. And nothing happened with that, and Michael hung out at my house for about a year.
So remember, this is 1969. Now, I'm on a ship in the U.S. Navy, and boy, I did want to go to that show. Now, the movie was the next best thing to it, and that almost didn't happen.
The only reason Woodstock went into history, the week before Woodstock, everybody turned the movie down. I never tried to sell it. I was busy promoting and getting the people there. And I said, guys, we got $1 million invested at least. Who knows what it's going to cost? We did $100,000 for film. We got this crew up there, Michael Wadley and this new guy, Martin Scorsese, because that was his first project he ever worked on out of school. And I said, I need $100,000 for film. And I sat up all night and wrote out, it was a handwritten contract between me and Ashley and Weintraub. And then Wadley had to take a helicopter from the site, agreeing to direct it. And that's how the Woodstock movie came to be 3 days before the concert. And that's why most of the time at the concert you see me with the acts, because I had to talk them into signing a release when they were supposed to get paid to be shot when we had no gate.
Now, what Artie means when he says there was no gate, he means there was no money in hand. And they had to come up with a way to make money, and the movie and the record were what they were thinking was going to make the money. So what we have now is a free concert.
We had the choice 3 days before whether to put up chicken wire or build a site that would hold. Because, well, there was $1.7 million exactly on the road when we asked rock Rockefeller to close the New York Thruway, and the projection was if we kept it open for 6 more days, there'd be 4 million people.
Whoa!
And we knew that we had enough rice, and we did plan enough that, it just didn't happen. The amazing thing is why I went from a rock concert to, as Time Magazine quote said, the greatest man-made peaceful event in the history. 500,000 people went 3.5 days without one fist fight. It was really magical, and I was really lucky because I did the whole promotion, and now Michael had to perform because he had 1,600 people working for us.
Yeah.
And he actually had to work, instead of hire people to do the work. And I got to actually experience it there was only 2 people with the producer's badge, and I got to experience it as the producer, but also as part of the crowd, and it was quite an experience because I saw both sides of it,
What's the biggest thing that jumps in your mind about the whole event?
Well, in my mind, the biggest thing is the fact that you could have a thought, no matter what it is, and if you think positive about it, no matter how outrageous it is, if you really believe that it'll come to be, if it's right. I never said the idea came from us. I always said, even in our interview that we did in 82 Charles for 7 hours, that it came through me, not to me. I really felt that a higher power gave us the idea. And to me, it was always a war protest. That's why I was the partner that went out and met with the SDS and with the Black Panthers and made deals with all the revolutionary groups before not to cause trouble. And all they wanted was medical facilities, legal facilities if anybody got busted, and I guaranteed them that in writing. So basically, anybody who can cause trouble was cooled out. The only acts was some of the acts that were going to go on. I was afraid because, like Sly Stone, the 2 concerts he played that summer, there were riots in both that he incited. So I had to talk to Sly before he went on, and I had to talk to Peter Townsend too because he could be very inflammatory, And I think a highlight was Janice because I think it was the first time an Ida 4 projection system was used, and there was a big projector in the back. And when Janice saw that she could see herself and her behind wiggling, she sang half of her set looking away from the audience, watching her ass wiggle. And I got such a kick out of it because I love Janice. I mean, we had our moments when, we were both in different spaces at the wrong time where we didn't get along. But, just her look.
That brings up an interesting question, Artie. How in the world do you get ready for a concert for 500,000 of your closest friends?
And don't forget, when I first got there with my wife, someone handed me some reading material, and the first person I ran across was an old friend, was Jerry Garcia and Mickey Hart. So my first 3.5 hours was spent in my trailer reading this material with my wife, Mickey, and Jerry. So I certainly left that trailer in the right state of mind to go on with Woodstock.
Artie Kornfeld, who along with Michael Lang put together Woodstock. Now, I didn't know Michael very well, but Artie I've known since 1982. Artie was a true believer. He still is. I am pretty sure that Woodstock would have never happened without Artie Kornfeld. You can get the real story of exactly what happened at Woodstock in 1969 in the book The Pied Piper of Woodstock by Artie Kornfeld. I thank you, Artie Kornfeld. I'm Charlie Kendall, transcendentally yours until Charlie Kendall rides again.